The throne room of the Celestial Dominion fell silent as Princess Isabella stood before the assembled council. Her crystalline skin shimmered with hues of violet and silver, marking her as royalty among the Ithorian people. But today, that beauty felt like a curse. "The genetic scans are conclusive, Your Highness," the High Physician announced, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "You lack the reproductive capacity necessary for royal succession. According to our laws, you cannot inherit the throne." Isabella held her head high, though her hearts ached within her chest. Both of them, as was the nature of her species. For 3 solar cycles, suitor after suitor had arrived from across the galaxy. Princes, warlords, and nobles, all seeking to unite their houses with the most powerful empire in the known universe. And one by one, they had all departed when the truth was revealed. In Ithorian culture, fertility was everything. Bloodlines were sacred. Legacy was measured in offspring. An infertile royal was an impossibility, a contradiction that their ancient society had no framework to accommodate. "I understand," Isabella said quietly, her melodic voice barely audible. "I will accept exile." That was when Marcus Sullivan stepped forward from the human diplomatic contingent at the back of the hall. "Wait," he said, his rough human voice cutting through the murmurs of the alien aristocracy. The council members turned to stare at the human soldier, some with disdain, others with curiosity. Humans were still newcomers to the galactic stage, only 2 centuries since first contact. They were considered primitive by most standards, despite their remarkable adaptability and technological progress. Marcus was tall by human standards, with dark hair graying at the temples and eyes that had seen too many battles. He wore the dress uniform of the Terran Defense Force, medals gleaming on his chest. He had come to the Celestial Dominion as part of the honor guard for Earth's ambassador, never expecting to speak in such a setting. "Forgive my interruption," Marcus continued, walking forward with the confidence of a man who had faced down worse than judgmental aliens. "But I have a question. Princess Isabella is being exiled because she cannot produce heirs. Is that correct?" "It is not your concern, human," one of the council members hissed. "Actually, it is," Marcus replied. "Because I would like to request permission to marry Princess Isabella." The throne room erupted into chaos. Voices rose in a cacophony of shock and outrage. Isabella herself stared at the human soldier as if he had lost his mind. "Silence!" the Emperor's voice boomed. Isabella's father, Sovereign Thrain, leaned forward on his throne, his eyes, all 3 of them, focusing intently on Marcus. "Human, do you understand what you are saying? You would marry a princess who cannot give you children, who cannot continue your line." Marcus met the Emperor's gaze without flinching. "With respect, Your Majesty, where I come from, marriage isn't just about making babies. It's about partnership, companionship, love, if you're lucky." "Love?" The High Physician spoke the word as if it were foreign. "What value does love have without legacy?" "All the value in the world," Marcus said simply. He turned to look at Isabella, and for the first time since entering the throne room, his stern expression softened. "I've watched Princess Isabella for the past month during the treaty negotiations. I've seen her mediate disputes between species that have been at war for centuries. I've watched her stay up for 3 days straight to ensure fair trade agreements that would protect smaller worlds from exploitation. I've seen her show kindness to servants who others ignore, and I've seen her stand up to warlords twice her size when they threatened innocent people." He took another step forward. "Your Highness, I don't know you well. Maybe you'd never even consider someone like me. A soldier, not a prince. A human, not a nobleman of some great house. But if you're going into exile anyway, maybe you'd consider a different option. Come to Earth. Marry me. Not for politics or bloodlines, but because I think you're the most extraordinary person I've ever met, and I believe you deserve someone who sees your worth beyond your biology." Isabella felt something crack inside her chest. Not pain, but something else. Hope, perhaps. For months, she had been valued only for what she could not provide. But this human, this stranger, was offering her something her own people had never considered. Choice. "You would truly marry me?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Knowing I can give you no children? No heirs?" Marcus smiled. "Princess, humans figured out a long time ago that family isn't just about blood. We have adoption, fostering, mentorship. If we want children, there are millions of orphans across the galaxy who need homes. And if we don't want children, that's fine too. Either way, I'm not proposing to your reproductive system. I'm proposing to you." The Emperor watched this exchange with an expression that cycled through confusion, curiosity, and something that might have been respect. "This is most irregular," he said finally. "Isabella, my daughter, the choice is yours. Accept exile alone, or accept this human's proposal." Isabella looked at Marcus, really looked at him. She saw the scars on his hands, the laugh lines around his eyes, the simple honesty in his posture. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't royalty. He was just a man offering her something no one else had, the chance to be valued for who she was, not what she could produce. "I accept," Isabella said, and a smile broke across her face for the first time in months. "I will marry you, Marcus Sullivan." The council erupted again, but Isabella and Marcus only had eyes for each other. 3 months later, they stood together on the observation deck of a human colony ship, looking out at the stars. Isabella wore a simple dress instead of her royal gowns, and Marcus held her hand in his. "Any regrets?" he asked. Isabella leaned her head against his shoulder. "Not one. My people couldn't see past tradition to value what truly matters. But you humans, you understand something we forgot, that the worth of a person isn't in what they can produce, but in who they choose to be." "That's very philosophical," Marcus said with a grin. "I learned it from you," Isabella replied, and as their ship jumped to hyperspace, carrying them toward Earth and a new beginning, neither of them looked back at the empire Isabella had left behind, because they had found something more valuable than any throne. They had found each other. The end.